What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV, back with another live stream. And today, will Dangote come and rescue Arsenal from Stan Kroenke's grasp? We need new owners. The talk is that he's willing to approach Arsenal this summer. Can he buy the club? Will he buy the club? Will we move on from this Stan Kroenke owner that is holding this football club back? I know this season you've seen me be critical a lot of times of Mikel Arteta, but I will never forget the fact that we have an even bigger problem upstairs in that boardroom than the manager. Big up everyone for tuning in. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it, everyone, as usual. Kroenke will never leave. Let's hope he does. Kroenke, oh my days. Dangote out. He hasn't even got here yet. Big C on the African time since he's talking about Dangote. Apologies, people. This is our time to really pressure Kroenke. Listen, Thomas, that's a great point. 10,000 Arsenal fans can apparently go back to the stadium for the final home game of the season, Brighton at home. It's time to make some noise, people. It's time to make some noise. And just because 10,000 are in the ground doesn't stop another 20,000 Arsenal fans being outside the stadium. We need to put pressure on. Pre-season, we need to put pressure on. Big up everyone in the chat. Thank you very much for tuning in. Plenty of people waiting already. Hope you're well, Curtis. Great content as always. Please, we need a new owner. Big up my boy Franny Green over there in Dubai. What's popping, everyone? Go and check out his channel. Victor says, man like Curtis, respect. Nehemiah said, new owner would change everything. This guy loves Arsenal and wants to win. It would be brilliant. Let's blast up their Facebook. Do you know what? There are a lot of things that you can do to put pressure on companies via social media. You know, if you imagine 50,000 Arsenal fans emailing the Kroenke group on the same day, making all their systems go crazy where it's all crashed, and get it all trending on social media, all these big influencers and big people talking about it. You need to really build it up and push it in their face that, listen, we're not going to accept this no more, you know? We're all here arguing about Arteta and that's right. And I have criticised Mikel Arteta more than anybody probably this season. And I still keep the same stance on that manager at the moment. But if we had a proper owner, who knows how different things could be? Maybe we would have a better manager, or maybe this manager would be thriving under better ownership with sufficient backing, you know? So there you go. Big up from St. Lucia, Caribbean. About time we get rid of Kroenke, bro. 100%. Dangote is rich, Big C. Forbes underestimates his wealth. In Africa, he's valued at 30 billion. That's crazy, man. Hey, Curtis, I got disappointed that my other account was banned from commenting on your videos. Bro, let me know, man. I don't know why that happened. Obviously, I've got mods as well. I'll have to check that out. Maybe he said something over the top. I don't know. I'll check that, though. Something fresh and new is needed. 100%. Curtis, you and Robbie should buy Arsenal. Jeez, I don't know about that. Maybe Robbie can buy them. I can't buy them. If only, bro. If only. Imagine, man. It would be crazy. I'm skeptical about Dangote. How about Usmanov? We need somebody with deep pockets. Well, he's gone now. He's working with Everton. So, you know, he sold his shares to the Kroenkes. So we're not getting him. This may be our time to get into the big time. I mean, that would be great if that happened. This could be true. Arteta is a symptom of Kroenke. That's a good point. You know, is that why he's here? Because of him? Kroenke out much. I mean, yeah, would enough people get into it? You know, would enough people back it? Maybe. The club has only been going downhill since Kroenke has taken sole ownership. We were still wobbling even before that, I would say. But listen, Everton new stadium, Usmanov doing bits. You know, they've got big owners. They got a huge manager. How is it Everton were able to go and get Carlo Ancelotti, but Arsenal had to go and get a Mikel Arteta? You know, it doesn't make sense. We're a far bigger club than them. Who's Dangote? Is he worth it? Will he buy good players? Well, we are going to look into that because, listen, it's great saying that Kroenke goes, but we also have to make sure the new owner is, you know, the right man as well. Big up Mayhem with a super chat, although he didn't make a comment. Next time, make a comment if you want, bro. But I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Godfrey, always supporting. Thank you very much. You know, you can watch the training on Twitch. Is that right? I saw they put a new video out on YouTube, as they always do. Curtis, you're all right, bro. We as fans have to force them out. We have to create pressure. What we did wrong last time is when Usmanov tried to buy the club, the fan base still had this very, I don't want to be too critical, but they had this attitude that Arsenal can't be owned by, big Russian owner and do the Abramovich thing or do what Manchester City are doing. It's not the Arsenal way and all that nonsense. And we didn't back Usmanov, and Usmanov was ready to go big. Now we're paying the price, Now we all look at it different. Would I take Abramovich as Arsenal owner? Yes. Would I take Sheikh Mansour as Arsenal owner? Yes, I would. 100%. Kroenke out all day. What I want to know, and obviously people in the chat let me know, do you guys know much about Dangote? Do you know much about him? Obviously, he's a Nigerian businessman. Is there anybody who knows much about him? Let us know in the comments. Maybe you know more than me. Some people are saying he's richer than they're actually reporting on the Forbes list. Demo said, I'm Nigerian. Dangote is building a refinery in Nigeria, which kicks into production in 2022, which will supply the whole of Africa. But he owes a lot of money, so I'm not sure how he would fund. See, and those things are worrying, if he's got a lot of investments, would he be able to come in and put big money in? Jashar, big up, man. He says, big up, Curtis. Curtis, money is money. It doesn't matter if it is oil or anything. Well, at this stage, yeah. Smash the like button, people. Big up, Curtis. Keep up the good work. Respect. I appreciate that. Take some of that Arteta hate and direct it. The real problem, Stan Kroenke. Listen. Stan Kroenke is the bigger problem, but that doesn't mean at the same time that Arteta isn't a problem. I still believe he isn't managing this club well enough. If you don't know, people, we did now move down to 11th in the table after Leeds United won yesterday. Leeds obviously beat Southampton yesterday. I think it was 3-0, actually. Great result for them. That puts us back down in 11th, people. We're on page 2 again, we are 6 points off 6th. We're 11 points off 4th. West Ham, as I keep talking about, they don't have a better team than us. They don't have a great manager, but somehow they're 4th in the league, only 4 points off 2nd. We're down in 11th. It's not good enough. This season's been a shambles. I think a lot of this season does have to be pointed at the manager, because I think that team should be 7-8 points better off at least. But ultimately, there wasn't enough investment in the summer. We had an opportunity to sign Hossam Aouar in the summer and really fix that midfield. Aouar and Thomas Partey, all of a sudden, we've got a top quality midfield. But they sat there and they penny pinched. They didn't get Aouar done. They just gave us one, and we've paid the price this season. We've lacked creativity in midfield. Thomas Partey's had massive injury problems this year. And Xhaka and El Neni and players like that are not good enough to carry our midfield, and we've suffered. 1 win in our last 5 games, only 31 goals scored. 11 defeats, 10 wins. We've lost more than we've won. It's not good enough, and that has to be pointed at the owner, the manager, and the players. I'm embarrassed to see Arsenal Football Club down in 11th. I'm embarrassed, and I think him getting the job is even part of the problem of them owners, because would let's say Manchester City got rid of Pep, would they bring in an assistant manager from somewhere to give him the job? All right, Chelsea went with Frank Lampard, right? The difference with Frank Lampard, number one, he'd managed. Number two, he's an absolute legend of Chelsea. And he gave him massive money. So he said, right, you might be a top manager, but I'll give you the tools. And it didn't work, and he got rid of him. At Arsenal, we've said we've gone for a guy who's never managed at all, and we haven't even given him the tools to actually try and make it work. Do you know what I mean? So how was it ever going to work? Owner set the ambition of a club. I agree with that. If you work in an office, if that owner gives you a pen and paper and gives you some shabby little stuff to work with, if they get you quality stuff, a good laptop, good internet, good Wi-Fi, you can check all these things out, do all your research and that, it makes life easier, man. Bruv, Judgment Day tomorrow. Listen, tomorrow is the whole season for me is riding on that game because if we don't win that game tomorrow, our season's in the mud. It really is. It's in the mud somehow, and I keep saying it. Arteta's got to find a way of winning that competition. And I honestly mean that. I think even if we got to the semi-final, final, it's not good enough. Arteta needs to win it. Find a way of winning it. And I think it's not impossible, but we'll need a lot of luck. We'll need a lot of luck. Curtis, if Arsenal need change, they wouldn't have brought Arteta rather than a big manager and an experienced one. And that's the problem. The ownership have zero ambition, so we will never change whilst they're here. That seems to be the problem. The Arsenal North stand had Curtis has subscribed and liked and turned all notifications on. Thank you very much for your support. Hope everyone else has done that as well. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Sack him if we lose. No excuses. I've got to admit, and I am saying this, if we get knocked out to Benfica tomorrow, any tiny little bit of defence that is there for Mikel Arteta has to go out the window. It has to go out the window. Listen, I think we'll win tomorrow. I do. I think we'll beat Benfica. Then we're going to need some luck of the draw. Maybe Ajax get Man United. Maybe Tottenham get Leicester. You know, something. So a couple of big teams get knocked out as well. If we don't get into Europe, do you think the value drops again? 100%. 100%. You know, with no European football, we're a lesser model again. Good day. Big up John Wayne. Appreciate his supporting. Sell Arsenal. Go to the new stadium like Highbury. Too many good teams in Europa. As I said, bro, we're definitely going to need luck. I disagree that he hasn't been given the tools. He's got rid and got in enough players to at least get top four. Well, at least challenge for top four, Dre. You know, I meant in the sense that when you finish 8th, you need a big transfer window. Ultimately, we bought Gabriel, Thomas Partey and Willian. Was that a big enough window to bridge the gap? Probably needed another 2 players. But I agree in the sense that Mikel Arteta signed 9 players since he's been at the club. He also chose Hector Bellerin, Granit Xhaka. He kept both of them when he could have sold them. He kept Rob Holding. He kept Mohamed El Neni again. So there's another 4 players that he chose to keep. So effectively, that's 13 players that are at this club because of this manager. You know, so he definitely should have done better. I agree in that sense. He should at least be challenging. Preview will be out tonight, people. Cristiano's coming back on. Benfica fan who was on last week was really good. That should be out tonight. It will be quite late tonight, maybe around 10 o'clock this evening because he's in America and because of the time difference and stuff. So look out for that one. Obviously, we'll do the live watch along tomorrow. I'm going to get on quite early and do quite a long build-up show as well because it's such a big game, you know. UEFA Conference League, I mean, it's going to be one of them competitions that nobody wants to be in. It will be like the Conference of Europe, you know? Crazy. Dangote said he's interested, but he's working on a 20 billion project in Nigeria in an interview last year. Yeah. I've stopped watching Netflix since I came across Big C's channel. Underrated content. Big up, Marshall. Appreciate that. Really, can we win the Europa League? Listen, it's not impossible. It's not impossible. You need luck. At the quarterfinal stage of the FA Cup last year, if I'd have said to you, Sheffield United, who were doing well, away, Manchester City at Wembley and Chelsea at Wembley, you would have said Arsenal can't win that. You know, you would have said they can't win that, but they won it. You need a little bit of luck of the draw. You know, you have 2 legs as well in Europe, so it can be easier at times. First winners of the Conference League. I mean, this is this new competition that they're bringing out that is going to be like the lower version of the Europa League. You know, so I think if you win the Europa League, you go in the Champions League. This European Conference League, if you win that, you get into the Europa League. I mean, it's a bit of an embarrassment. You know, it's even worse than the Europa League. What day they're going to play it on? Friday. Like, it's not even Thursday night, I don't think. That I wouldn't want nothing to do with that. Giroud is the X that you see shining. It's typical, isn't it? You know, we hammered him at the end at Arsenal. He's scoring bicycle kicks away at Real Madrid for Chelsea. I would love a new owner at this club, an owner that cares and that can be seen during matches, an owner that's involved in transfers and demands and puts pressure on the staff. I agree. Arteta speaks so much waffle in his interviews after the games, he makes my ears bleed. Oh, mate. Dangote, Arsenal is a steal, twice the price. Get in. Is he clout chasing? That's my worry with him. And you've said it here, actually. This Dangote is a clout merchant. Buy the club or sod off. You know, it seems like he keeps talking about it, but I haven't heard no real moves yet. They're saying that Arsenal are willing to speak to him in the summer. Big up South London's finest. Smash the likes, people. Curtis Arteta needs to do something. We need a defender and a creative midfielder, 100%. Let's have a look briefly at these owners, because obviously, let's see who potentially is going to buy the club. Let's see what they're about. Let's have a look at this Dangote, just to give you a little bit of a background on him. He's 63 years of age, from northern Nigeria. He's got an estimated net worth of 10.7 billion. He's the wealthiest person in Africa. He's got this oil refinery that he is building in Nigeria. Apparently, he's got $20 billion tied up in these businesses that are currently underway. He says once these projects are done, then he will be able to buy Arsenal. I'm still skeptical. He's been talking about Arsenal for a while, you know, about wanting to buy them and so on and so forth. Until he makes an offer, to me, you're doing nothing but chasing a headline. Yeah, you might have the money. Apparently, he's an Arsenal fan. Apparently, he's keen to acquire a football team. So at least in that sense, you would expect him to care about Arsenal more than Stan Kroenke does. Stan Kroenke clearly doesn't care about Arsenal Football Club. He's clearly not an Arsenal fan. But I'm still skeptical about this guy. You know, is he just talking just to get attention and get all Arsenal fans talking about him? You know, he's got big businesses. But yeah, until he makes an offer, let's not get too excited. As I said, anybody in the comments, if you know a little bit more about him, let me know. Put it in the comments. Give us a bit of information. Anyone but Stan. Listen, man, you know, Stan is rich. Stan Kroenke is absolutely rich, bruv. So it's not a financial situation with Stan Kroenke. You know, his missus owns Walmart. Absolutely huge in America. You know, they are a power couple. But he doesn't invest the money. You can sit on 10 billion and say, you know, I'm not spending nothing. I'm actually Nigerian, and I know most things about Dangote. He has more money than Kroenke, and Dangote has been trying to buy Arsenal since 2011, and he is a massive Arsenal fan. There you go. Good bit of information. Let the fella put his money where his mouth is and make an offer, and then let's chat about this dude. Yeah. Curtis, people like you should be employed as part of Arsenal management staff. If only, bro. If only. I think I'm a little too hard-hitting with the talk. I don't think they'd like that. Craig David. I know you're an Arsenal channel, but do you rate Chelsea's chances of Haaland? I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. Chelsea are one of them teams, man. When they're ready to spend, they spend. And if they're in the Champions League, then why not? Curtis, Kroenke do spend money. It's just that the board doesn't spend the money right. If the board was spending the money right, we wouldn't complain about Kroenke. But then ultimately, how I always flip this, and I do agree with that, right? If you own a business and you employ a manager and you give him money to go and buy people, buy players, and he buys the wrong players, after one transfer window, you would pull him up on that. You go, listen, bro, I ain't got money to waste. You know, you just bought Xhaka and Mustafi for 35 million each, and they haven't worked. Your job would be on the line straight away. He allowed Gazidis and Wenger year after year. I don't really care what you spend, just get me top four. He didn't care about the team. He didn't care where the money was going. Just get me back in the Champions League. And that was the problem. You know, he allowed it to happen on his watch. So, yeah, the argument is that Stan Kroenke has spent money. It's been spent wrong. Yeah, cool. But it's been spent wrong on his watch. You know, why did we make a £40 million and £1 bid for Luis Suarez? Why didn't you just say, you know what, Luis Suarez right now is the best striker in the Premier League. If we sign him, we can win the title. Don't bid 40 million and a pound. Go and bid 45 million and get the deal done. We'd probably win the title if we make that deal. Go and get Gonzalo Higuain when he was at Real Madrid, and we missed out on that deal as well, over 5 or 6 million. So many transfers where we missed out because of money that could have made the difference. Big C, how much do you think it's going to take for Kroenke to sell? Because he rejected 1.2 billion. I think it would be over 1.5 billion. I do. Maybe close to 2 billion. Leeds in the house. Big up Big C. Smash that like button. Big up Luke. We don't want Dangote. We want Don Robbie. Yeah, he's probably got more money than Dangote, to be fair. The owner has no ambition for Arsenal. None whatsoever. Would love Dangote, but will Kroenke sell? That's the problem. And that is the problem. 40 million and £2 would line up for tomorrow. Yeah, we'll talk more about that in the preview later on. I mean, I can see you've left Aubameyang out of your team. It's interesting. Do you think Kroenke will leave? I think it would take a big offer. Let me have a look at this as well, by the way. I'll show you this about Stan Kroenke. So Arsenal suffer potential transfer blow as Stan Kroenke's wealth revealed after difficult year. Now, Arsenal fans will be able to see a fair amount of in the summer on the back of a disappointing season, but Stan Kroenke may have a different plan on the back of recent news. Now, there's all this belief that Arsenal are going to have a massive transfer window this summer, right? You know, that we're going to spend loads of money and that we're going to go and buy all these players because of the money we've saved on Ozil and people like that. Now, you got to look at this. Football has been no exception. Remember, Arsenal borrowed £120 million off the bank in January. That has to be paid back by June, right? 120 million has to go back. It was an interest-free loan from the Bank of England. Stan Kroenke has obviously completed this new stadium in Los Angeles, the SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles. His NFL team got beat in the playoffs and didn't get to the finals. But Stan Kroenke has apparently lost over $1 billion during this pandemic. Over $1 billion. Big money, you know, big money. Can you see Stan Kroenke losing $1 billion, sitting in a pandemic, building a new stadium? That stadium in LA costs $5 billion. So that tells you everything. And I agree with you here. Football London, sometimes they do waffle, but some of this is true, right? How are you an owner? And on one side of the continent, you've spent $5 billion on a new stadium. That stadium is absolutely incredible, by the way. And then in London at Arsenal, you're borrowing £120 million and putting us in debt. All right, you've got to pay that back. But all Arsenal are, for him, is leverage, is clout. When he needs to borrow money to buy a new stadium, he'll say, all right, worst case scenario, I own Arsenal over there. So if I run into any debt, I can sell that club and get money back. He doesn't care about Arsenal. We're just something that helps him to gain money from banks to invest and things like that. And it's terrible. It's terrible. Government loan, £120 million. His wife is the owner of Walmart. Do you know these kind of companies have made billions of profit during the pandemic because people can only go to these kind of shops and buy groceries and things like that? This football club, Arsenal, is an asset to Stan Kroenke. You bang on, dilly. It's an asset to him. It's nothing more than that. He doesn't care. He doesn't want to win. He doesn't try and win. And that's where we're at. We have to try and get this guy out of the football club. You know, he doesn't want to win. He's just there purely to make money. Obviously, when we got knocked out the top four, that hits the money. That hits the money hard for him. But he's a terrible owner, man. Dangote, are you gonna come and buy the club? But I'm not sure that he's. I'm not sure that he's really about it, this Dangote. I don't know if he's just talking. Let me show you this as well, because I find this so interesting. You know, when I start doing my research about this guy, Stan Kroenke, as well. This guy has got dough, bro. This guy has got dough. Look at this. Premier League's richest owners. Sheikh Mansour, 23.3 billion. He's the Deputy Prime Minister of United Arab Emirates and half brother of the UAE President. I mean, they're on a next level. They are on a next level. They've won 4 Premier Leagues since he took over in 2008. Unbelievable owners, man. Roman Abramovich took over in 2003. I believe, and forgive me if I'm wrong, I believe Chelsea have won more trophies than any club in England since Abramovich took over. 8.5 billion. Look who's third, people. Look who is third. Third richest owner in the Premier League. Stan. Silent Stan. Stan, I won't invest no money out of my own pocket. He's married to Ann Walton, who owns Walmart. Walmart is absolutely huge. I believe, and forgive me if I'm wrong, I believe she's worth more than him. He's worth £6.8 billion. He's the third richest owner in the Premier League. He owns the LA Rams, and obviously he built this new stadium for $5 billion in America. He got involved in Arsenal in 2007. They say David Dean led him into the club, which a lot of people hammer David Dean for that. You know, they love David Dean for what he did with Arsene Wenger. But he apparently is the person who led Stan Kroenke into the boardroom. He became majority shareholder in 2011 and got sole ownership in 2018. He also relocated the St. Louis Rams to LA in 2016. Like, imagine owning a club and just moving them to the other side of the country, like when all their fans, that's like moving Arsenal to like Newcastle. You know, it doesn't make no sense. Clearly, this guy is nothing more than a business owner, and Arsenal is just something for him to use as leverage. He doesn't care. He's the third richest owner. When you go through the list, Fulham's is at 4th, Aston Villa at 5, Wolves at 6, you know, Tottenham up there as well. Interesting that the Glazers, half the money of Stan Kroenke, and yet, look, I know they've put Manchester United in a lot of debt, but they've spent a lot of money in the transfer window. So why is our silent owner just sitting there watching us crumble? This guy, for me, it's criminal what he is doing to our beloved football club, and he gets away with it. He's in America. He's quiet. We can't get to him. We just can't. We can't affect him. What we have to do, we have to use social media. We have to apply pressure. As soon as these fans go back to the stadium, last game of the season, from that day, it has to start, people. It has to. We've got to get this guy out of the football club somehow. It's criminal. Absolutely criminal what he's doing to this football club. Imagine where we would be with Manchester City's owners. Imagine where we would be with Roman Abramovich. You know, I think we'd be winning the Premier League with them guys because they'd have gone for it by now. Big up Don Draper in the chat. Kroenke doesn't even like Arsenal. There is no sentimental bond between Kroenke and Arsenal. Dangote is worth $17 billion according to Bloomberg Wealth Index. Come on, man. Dangote, get in here and spend the P, man. Spend the money. Spend the moolah, man. Get us back to where we need to get to. You know, we're desperate for it. We need an owner that cares. He apparently supports the club. You know, he wants a football club. I don't believe he owns any other sporting companies as well. What football boots would represent Stan Kroenke? I don't know. Probably some Asda's own brand football boots, man. Yeah, you are a football boot, but you're useless. You're going to fall apart when you get put under pressure. You know, Stan Kroenke, you're an owner, but you're a useless owner, bro. You're not even as good as like Gola and them brands there, you know. Newcastle's potential owners were worth 1.4 trillion. Oh, man, and they're stuck with Mike Ashley. May 18th, banners out. Listen, I'm telling you, I'm going to speak to Turkish, you know. I'm going to speak to him. We got to get something going here, man. We got to get, this is it. We got to unite. Yeah, if there's 10,000 fans inside that stadium, there's nothing stopping another 20,000 being outside that stadium, putting pressure on this guy. He can't keep getting away with this. He can't keep getting away with it. The guy's the third richest owner in the Premier League, you know. Third richest, and the guy don't want to spend no money. How powerful would it be if Arsenal said, you can have 10,000 fans back in the stadium against Brighton and no one turned up. Can you imagine that? If they had all their staff, you know, all the people around the ground, the shop was open, you had security there, all these people, and no one turned up. All right, you would end up with 1,000 or, you know, there'd be people who would ignore all this and go. But imagine if no one went and they were like, "Oh, we could have had 10,000 and we only got 1,000 here today." What kind of sign would that be? What, you know, that would send a big message. Bear in mind, the game that we can go back to is Brighton at home, last game of the season. Let's be honest. Are Arsenal going to be playing for anything? Last game of the season in the Prem, are we going to be fighting for top 4, top 6? I doubt it. We'll probably be mid-table and it'll be a nothing game. That is the perfect opportunity to get started in person. And to me, and listen, sometimes I think it's mad, but I think Arsenal fans need to be protesting on that day, even if it's a small crowd. That the message needs to be put that this is not acceptable. This season at Arsenal Football Club can't be accepted. I have a lot of arguments with people on social media, right, about Mikel Arteta. And I get it. The fan base is still quite split on him. I don't think he's good enough. Some people think he needs more time. That's fine. But the one thing we can't disagree on is the owner of this football club suffocating this football club. We're a giant. We're the third biggest team in the country in terms of history, fan base, support, merchandise. After Man United and Liverpool, we are the third biggest in this country. Not on the pitch in terms of recent success, of course. But we're the third biggest. And look at us. Down in 11th. Embarrassing. Embarrassing. You know, looking up at the rest of the league. Battling. We're in the bottom half of the table. You know. Embarrassing ourselves. Where's the owner? Why ain't the owner stepping in? Look at Abramovich. When Chelsea started wobbling, something's got to change. Something's got to change. Now, I'm not saying you've got to keep sacking managers, but drastic action has to be taken when you're suffering. Why does this guy not do it? Big up Vegas Gunner, appreciate the super chat. This mess would be fixable had Wenger and his flunky managed the money and contracts correctly. It's a disaster now. Yeah, it's a recovery job now. It is. We're trying to recover from where we were. Wenger was covering for these guys towards the end, which is a big reason why I even turned against him. A guy who I still look at today as a legend, but ultimately he became the front runner for the Kroenkes and just put up with whatever was thrown at him. And that's the problem. Big up Jashar. Appreciate the super chat, bro. Big up Curtis. Do you know if Arsenal's value has gone down due to the recent losses suffered over the last couple of years? I heard it had gone down by around £100 million, I believe. But obviously, is that going to be enough to force him to sell? No Europa League would definitely cause the club to go down, but I don't want us I don't want it to get to that point. Listen, for me, there's two ways to go about this. There has to be a social media situation. Social media is powerful nowadays, right? There's millions and millions of people, millions of Arsenal fans on social media. So it's easier to unite there. And then obviously when the games come back, you need to get together in person. Don Juan saying 200 million. I thought it was 100. So there you go. It's been even more. Brighton, last game, even if we're competing, we've become banter. I can see Mopé the moment. Listen, that game there needs to be a moment in the season. I'm telling you. End of May, last game of the season, Europa League finals the week after. If we're not in that final and we've got nothing to play for in the league, I want Arsenal fans to be at the Emirates that day. Don't worry if we haven't got a ticket and there's 10,000 in that stadium. Things need to be going off that day. This football club right now is in the mud, people. It's in the mud. Arsenal is only big in name right now, right? It's only big in name. The reputation is in the dirt right now. It's a sleeping giant. Absolute sleeping giant. Yeah, boycott that Brighton game. I'm telling you, it won't happen, unfortunately. It won't. You'll get people who just want to watch Arsenal, and fair enough, right? But even if there's 10,000 in there, there needs to be stuff going on outside. Because I believe when people were protesting against Arsene Wenger, when people were leaving seats empty, that had a massive influence. The only way you can get Kroenke out of Arsenal is this simple. You have to hit his pocket. That is the only way you've got a chance of getting him out of the football club. You have to hit his pocket. When big sponsors see those kinds of things happening, fans leaving seats empty, protests outside the stadium, merchandise sales going downhill, causing a stir, social media following, if imagine 100,000 Arsenal fans emailed the Kroenkes on the same day, ring their phone numbers, get hashtags going. You have to hound them and make them feel the pressure. The problem is at the moment, they're not feeling the pressure. They paid Arsene Wenger 12 million a year to get away with it. And now they're doing the same to Arteta. Big up School Fuggery, people. Go and check out his channel. Incredible YouTube channel. One of the funniest out there. I need to get in contact with you today, bro, as well. For that, for the things that you've been sending me for tomorrow's game. I will message you. Have any top flight clubs successfully got owners out in recent history? Feels like an impossible task. Look at United's yellow and green movement a few years ago when Bex took a scarf from the crowd. I tell you the difference. They cover it up, the Glazers, because the Glazers can say, all right, they've put Manchester United in a lot of debt, but they spend big money as well. They gave Mourinho the job. He bought Pogba for a world record 90 million. He bought Lukaku for 75 million. So I don't see the Manchester United situation like the Arsenal one. Ours is much worse. Ours is worse. Our manager is not investing like that. You want to hit the pockets? Nah, we ain't burning no stadium. Yeah, Liverpool did get Hicks and Gillette out, and they got better owners in. And look at the success. They got the right manager. They invested money back. They won the title, won the Champions League. Free Pepe said, but Curtis, you buy all the new shirts. I know. I hold my hands up. Hold my hands up. I'm going to change that attitude. Trust me. I bet I don't buy the shirts next season. I fell for the trap. I can't help it. That's the emotion. That's the emotion in me, man. We won the Charity Shield. Then we beat Fulham. I had dreams of top four. I bought the shirts. Made a mistake. Hold my hands up. Won't happen again until this football club's on the right track. I'm telling you. Bring the plane out. Yo, listen, I'm on it. I'm on it, people. Let's set it up. Someone set that up. It's fans who do this, You set up a GoFundMe. The Arsenal fans will pay for that. Standard. We got 17 million Arsenal followers on Twitter. The plane can go over the stadium, and it's probably only a couple of grand to get a plane for 10 minutes. Get the banners out, man, people. Get this owner out the football club. Listen, if we say it won't work, then we'll never know. We'll never know, will we? We could be in this situation for 15 years because he might just pass the club on to his son. That's the problem now. He's got his son in charge of a lot of things now. So everyone's thing was, Stan Kroenke is getting old. What he'll do, he'll get to a certain age and he'll sell. Now he's probably thinking, son, you go and run it. I'll chill here in America, you run it. We could be there for another 15 years. What does it harm us by doing some stuff on social media, getting hashtags up, What harm does that do us? What harm would a plane do? What harm would a little protest outside the ground do? We're not saying go there and riot and smash up the ground and burn the place down. We're just saying, listen, man, stand together, man. Stand side by side and a few banners. Let's do what we got to do, man. We're not going there to cause anarchy and all get arrested. It's a peaceful protest, people. You got to let them know we're not happy with what's going on. Our football club's suffering so bad right now. It's painful. It's painful, man. We grew up with greatness. That's why I have this green screen, because it's greatness. That picture to me says 1,000 words. You can't even see Bergkamp and Henry's face really in that picture, but you can just feel the greatness in that picture. Two legends. One of the best Dutch strikers of all time. One of the best French strikers of all time. Icons of the football club. What have we got now? It's hard to support Arsenal right now. How many players, let me ask all of you in the chat now, how many players in this Arsenal team right now do you absolutely love? And I mean like Love like you probably loved Henry and Bergkamp. How many of them? I don't love many of these Arsenal players at all. I like a few of them. The young players, couple of players, your Tierney's maybe, and yeah, Saka, Smith Rowe, Martinelli, Aubameyang when he's at it. If I was a kid now, being honest, would you support Arsenal now? Unless you're born into it and you're fed it by your parents. I grew up with Ian Wright. Wright, he drew me to Arsenal. I love the personality, the goal-scoring ability. Kids nowadays, man, we've said this time and time again. Arsenal will lose a generation. Make no mistake about that. They're going to lose a generation of fans. But this football club, man, it ain't the football club it used to be. It's not. And I hate the acceptance of the mediocrity. The acceptance of it is what pains me more than anything. If all Arsenal fans were moving in the right direction now, we would be so much further down the line. What happens now? You've got Arsenal fans now moaning about Arteta, and you've got some saying he needs more time. But the ultimate thing is in the middle. It's whether you like Arteta or not, think he's the right manager or not. The problem lies in the middle. It doesn't matter if you like Arteta. We're 11th. That's not acceptable. That's embarrassing. Why are we 11th? Has there been enough investment? Have you backed Mikel Arteta enough? Why is our owner not saying anything? How come we're 11th and Stan Kroenke ain't saying nothing? Where's the statement? Why is he not telling the fans that, listen, yeah, I've got full ownership of this football club. This season hasn't gone how we would like it. Be patient with us. And this summer, we're going to do our best to fix it. Even if he was just spieling that off and he didn't even, hopefully he would mean it. But that would give you a little bit of belief that, okay, at least he's going to try and fix this mess. Chelsea fans, they know when Chelsea get into a mess, guess what? Abramovich is going to do something. He ain't sitting there and allowing it to happen. He's either getting rid of 4 or 5 players, bringing new players in. Our manager's getting sacked. He'll bring in a new director of football. Something's changing. Arsenal are just sitting there going, oh, yeah, look, Stan, we're 11th. Oh, yeah, no problem. Yeah. So what? Why don't they care? Why don't they care that we're now 11th? It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. As you've said here, the last player I thought, wow, was Alexis. Again, another player that we flopped. Allowed him to run down one contract and then walk out to our rivals. You let him get to 6 months in his contract. And he walked. As I said, 2 reasons at the moment that players are coming to Arsenal. Younger, talented players who probably view it as a stepping stone. Players like Gabriel. You could see a Gabriel in 2 years going to Barcelona, Bayern Munich, PSG, using Arsenal as a stepping stone. And older players. Aubameyang committed at 30-odd. He probably thought, I'll chill, pick up the dough. Willian, David Luiz, they come here for an easy life at the back end of their career, let's be honest. How many 26, 27-year-olds are we getting at their very best? When's the last time we went to Chelsea and pulled a player out of Chelsea? Not going there and taking their leftovers like, oh, have you got a spare goalkeeper? Yeah, we'll take Peter Cech, the old guy who you don't want to play anymore. Or David Luiz, the centre-back that Frank Lampard's decided he doesn't want to play because he doesn't deem him good enough. Or Willian, the 32-year-old winger that they've just replaced with Hakim Ziyech, a winger that wanted to come to Arsenal, and you give him a 3-year contract while he's declining. That's what Arsenal have been doing. They're outside with their hands out saying, have you got any leftovers? Rather than knocking the door down and saying, listen, a big club's in here now. We're going to take N'Golo Kante off Chelsea. We're going to take Reece James off Chelsea, but we're not about that life. We're not about that life. We're moving like small fry out here, man. It won't change. The attitude of the fans, for me, is the number one thing that has to change, right? I'm not saying the fans can even force this guy out of the football club because it's difficult to get an owner out of a football club. It's probably harder than getting a manager sacked. But we've got to do something. We've got to at least be on the same page that, hang on, okay, maybe you like Arteta and maybe you don't, but at least let's all acknowledge in the middle that the football club is an absolute mess right now. The football club is a mess. we're bringing out more training kits than we are winning games. The club are absolutely ripping off the fans. And as I always say, right, as a former professional myself, at a lower level, of course, but I saw the importance of fans. Fans are everything. Me as a player, when I played, I always made sure I had a connection with the fans. I spoke to fans on social media. If we lost and we were getting on the coach, I would speak to fans, because I always say they're the blood of the football club. They keep the football club flowing around, right? When players leave, fans are still there. Right now, this football club has no real connection with the fan base. They're actually bringing out training kits after defeats. We're losing games on a weekend, and then on Monday morning, buy our new exclusive training kit, you know, with all these patterns on it. The T-shirt's about £70, you know, and they'll rip you off. And they know that certain fans are so drawn into the football club emotionally that you end up buying it. You know, me, myself, I said to myself this year, I'm not buying any of the kits. I said, listen, I'm not buying none of them kits. This club are ripping us off. I don't want nothing to do with them. They brought out 3 kits. They all look decent. It was Adidas. You know, I like Adidas after we was with Puma. Won a couple games. I'm on my phone during lockdown. I'm a bit bored. You know, oh, man. Yeah, go on then. I'll buy all 3 of them. Next minute, I'm wearing the shirt in the live stream. Then we go and lose games. I haven't worn an Arsenal shirt out of the house for probably about 3 months. And I'm not even joking. I wouldn't wear them shirts outside right now. I'm wearing them inside just to chill in the house, you know. I don't even feel pride in that shirt no more. This is what I said. All my old shirts are at my mum's. I'm going to get them all back. Wait to in the next few weeks, you're going to see me in my JVC and O2 shirts, mate. You know, I'm done with all this. I'm done with it. These shirts go out of date anyway. I don't wear last season's shirts anymore. You might as well wear the old shirts, the Nike shirts. They're timeless, man. You know, they're just ripping us off. They're rip-off merchants in full effect. So we got to do something, people. And I'm telling you, fans are way more powerful than you think. Way more powerful than you think. And I've seen it from inside a football club. You know, fans have a big influence on what happens, but only if they're together and moving in the right direction. Big up Gio with a super chat. Thank you very much, bro. He said, big up Curtis, still recovering from the Derby loss. He, of course, is an AC Milan fan. Lukaku and Inter dealt with them heavy at the weekend. Arsenal messed up when they didn't sign Carlo. He fixed Everton's midfield for 45 million, 3 million less than Partey. Who did? Oh yeah, because they bought Allen, they bought Decore and James Rodriguez. Listen, I made a video at the time saying that Arsenal should get Carlo Ancelotti, and I had a debate with Kevin Campbell about it off camera. He was saying the club didn't want to spend that money. Well, I don't know why. How can we commit 120 grand a week basic plus 100,000 in bonuses? How can we commit that to Willian, right? But we weren't willing to commit to a manager. You know, a manager is arguably one of the most important roles of an entire football club. And you put all that money into a squad player, but you didn't put it into the manager. Doesn't make sense. I want to answer this as well. Big D said, so you only show off your Arsenal support when we're winning and things are great. Nothing to do with the fact that we're winning. I don't just wear the shirt when we're winning. I wear the shirt when I'm proud of what that football club is doing, when I can see that they care about the fans. We've struggled for years. I sat there under Arsene Wenger for what, 9-10 years without us winning a trophy? Do you think I wore my Arsenal shirts then? All the time I wore the Arsenal shirts then. Yeah, I wore the Arsenal shirts then. I'm not wearing the Arsenal shirts now, not because we're not winning games, because I have no pride in the way this football club are moving, the way the owner's moving. Do you think they care about the fans? No. Does the owner care about the fans? The owner knows right now that Arsenal fans must be fuming. Arsenal are 11th in the table. He doesn't care. He'll bring out a new training kit next week. If we lose to Benfica tomorrow, I bet you in 2 weeks there'll be another training kit. £70 a T-shirt. He doesn't care. He doesn't. So that's why I'm not wearing the shirt. It's got nothing to do with not winning. You know, it's about the way the club are conducting themselves. Having a struggle is fine. It's acceptable. We know that. It happens, don't it? Chelsea were 10th that season and Liverpool struggled for a long time in the Premier League. Big up Igal in the chat. He said, Curtis, to think about you as I respect you because you articulate yourself well, even though you want the manager out, you're not swearing and cussing out of that is respectful. Now, big up Igal, man. Listen, I always say as a fan base, we can have different opinions. You know, there are a lot of fans who really like Mikel Arteta. They think he needs time. There are some who think he's not good enough. But what I'm trying to say with videos like this is let's all acknowledge the same thing. What's happening at Arsenal right now is not acceptable. It's not good enough. That isn't all down to the manager. A lot of that is down to the ownership. Can we influence change at this football club? Maybe, maybe not. What we can do is at least put pressure on. It might be a case of Stan Kroenke doesn't sell, but maybe he invests more money because he's feeling the pressure. Maybe the merchandise gets hit because we're not all buying. Maybe we leave empty seats in the stadium and protest and hold up banners. Those things make a difference. Believe me, people. Believe me. I've been at a football club before where fans wanted a particular manager out of the club. And it was a regular talking point. Inside the changing room, players were talking about it. In the boardroom meetings, they were talking about it. In the press, it was being spoken about. If they saw 20,000 Arsenal fans outside the Emirates protesting against this guy, not buying merchandise and making noise, holding up banners, it would be in the newspapers. It would be on the internet. It would be the start of a movement. You get one of two things. Hopefully, you get a change in attitude from the owner, or he sells the club. Either way would be a win for Arsenal. Big up Laurie Lyle in the chat, man. Big up Laurie. We've recorded Talk is Cheap. That should be out later today, so go and check that out. But yeah, listen, I know I'm going on a little bit here, but it really frustrates me because I have so many arguments with Arsenal fans online, and I'm like, bro, I'm an Arsenal fan like you, you know. Why are you angry with me? You know, and that's the thing I always have with Arsenal fans. Why are we always arguing with each other? You know, over things that are not actually going to affect the club. Let's all look at the bigger picture. The club ain't moving in the right direction. And that's the biggest thing. AFTV have a huge platform. They should be trying to influence change. Fair play to you, Curtis. Listen, I'll be honest with you. It is different for Robbie. It is. I think Robbie said on this channel, he came on, 2 weeks ago? He said that he agreed that it wasn't the right owner in charge. But because of his business and the connections with Arsenal, you know how it goes, man. Sometimes you have to be careful in those situations. Maybe he's got a lot more riding on it than I have. I'll say whatever I want. You know, it's a bit different. We need to protest outside HLN. The clowns aren't at the Emirates. Well, yeah, it's just on a match day. You have a lot of press and television there, and that's what you need. AFTV is different. They have no obligation to change things. It's a business. Yeah, man. Listen, they got to do what they got to do. But me, I think we can change things. You know, I do think we can change things. Yeah, and yeah, Igal, you're right. We never backed Turkish. But what I'm saying, we can look at what we can do now. At the end of the day, it's even worse now than it was then. Let's be honest. So yeah, it's time for something else. Big up Flo Irie, man. The people could make a change only if we stand as one. It's our money running the show. In reality, bruv, say it again. Say it again, man. You know, football fans are a huge part of the revenue inside a football club. A massive part of it. The merchandise and the tickets, that goes towards wages inside a football club. So, listen, man, I always say this. Fans are a lot more powerful than they think. I'm telling you. But it only works if they work together. Owners listen to their finances like GameStop did around the old shirts associated with Glory, JVC, Dreamcast 02. We should buy those to spite Adidas. The owners will be forced. I'm telling you, bro. I'm getting the old shirts out, man. Give me a week or two when I go and collect the old shirts. I'm getting the old shirts back on, man. Them shirts are timeless. You know, them shirts are timeless. Before I get out of here, I'm just going to show you this. And you've seen this before. But I just want you to see this, just to remember before we get out of here. This is our owner. If ever a picture and a headline was more damning, it will never be more damning than that to me. That should actually be on a banner outside the stadium. This man right here, Stan Kroenke, and this guy on his left shoulder, Ivan Gazidis, who he let run our transfer system into the ground year after year alongside Arsene Wenger. But this man, I mean, Gazidis has gone. This man, Stan Kroenke, if this statement doesn't anger you as an Arsenal fan, nothing ever will. That is our football club. We grew up on doubles, FA Cups, Invincibles, great players, pride and passion. Even if we weren't winning, we represented the badge properly. This guy has done this to our football club. And he had the nerve to say this publicly as well. Stan Kroenke, I didn't buy Arsenal steak to win trophies. It's as simple as that, people. I'm gonna end it on that because there's nothing more. What more can you say? What more can you say as an owner? Our owner said that. Have you ever heard Abramovich say that? Have you ever heard Sheikh Mansour say that? You will never hear them say that, people. Stan Kroenke, I didn't buy Arsenal steak to win trophies. That is it. We're going to go out on that. I think that's a powerful way to leave this conversation. That, for me, is absolutely criminal that the owner of this football club said that. It wouldn't surprise me if he supports one of our rivals because it's a sabotage mission at this point, you know? He's just watching us sink like the Titanic and doing nothing about it. Absolutely disgraceful owner, this guy. Big up everyone for tuning in today. This is a message that needs hammering home, people, and I will keep hammering it home. Turkish, we're gonna trust me, bro. We're gonna get a movement going. It. Smash the likes, people. Over 1,000 of you in here. Let's see if we can get 500-600 likes. I'm sure most of you agree. You want this owner out, man. You want this owner out. Get this show seen as much as possible, and let's get a movement going, people. You know, and let's try and make a difference to this football club. Stan's in here, by the way. He said, I'm a paper chaser. Yeah, we can see that, Stan, mate. Listen, subscribe if you haven't already. Smash the like button. Like I said, the bigger these shows get, the bigger the movement we get, people. And it's important we get all Arsenal fans moving together, man. Whether you like the manager, the players, whatever, a new owner would change everything at this football club. So let's keep hammering that message home. I'll be back tonight, 10 p.m. Benfica v Arsenal preview with Cristiano. 2 p.m. show tomorrow will be back. And then the massive game tomorrow. Arsenal against Benfica. It's all or nothing. Our whole season's riding on it. Appreciate all your support. Thank you for all the fantastic comments as always. As I said, smash a like. Let's get this video seen. Let's get our football club back. Enjoy the rest of your day, people. Bless.